Welcome back. Today I'll walk you through the 4 destructive patterns that can quietly tear down any relationship, whether it's romantic, friends, family, or even at work. These patterns are so common that most of us have done them without even realizing it. But once you learn to spot them, you can start breaking the cycle and building healthier, stronger connections. And if you want the condensed version of the best communication tools I've learned in 20 years, the Conversation and Communication Skills Masterclass is it. Zero fluff, just what works. Link below. So let's dive in. Every relationship develops patterns over time. Some are positive, like sharing laughs, supporting each other through stress, or checking in at the end of the day. However, some patterns can chip away at the connection little by little until one day the bond feels weaker than it should. That's why it's so important to be able to step back and notice how you show up. Because at the end of the day, you can't control what your partner, parent, or friend does, but you can take ownership of yourself. Dr. John Gottman, one of the most respected relationship researchers, identified what he calls the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. 4 destructive communication styles that predict relationship breakdown if left unchecked. Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. So let's break each down and discuss what you can do instead. Criticism isn't the same as a complaint. A complaint is pointing out something that bothers you. Criticism is attacking the person instead of the behavior. Instead of saying, "You left the dishes in the sink," criticism sounds like, "You're so lazy, you never help around here." See the difference? One focuses on the action, and the other cuts at the person's character. The problem with criticism is that it creates shame, defensiveness, and disconnection. Over time, constant criticism feels like death by 1,000 cuts. Shift from attack mode to request mode. Instead of, "You never do anything," try, "I'd appreciate it if you could help with the dishes tonight." And here's a secret. Positive reinforcement works way better than nagging. If your partner, child, or roommate does what you ask them, even small acknowledgments go a long way. People repeat what gets appreciated, not what gets torn down. Second is contempt. Contempt is the most dangerous of the 4 horsemen. In fact, Gottman found it's the #1 predictor of divorce. Contempt shows up as a sarcasm, eye-rolling mockery, name-calling, or that subtle "I'm better than you" attitude. It's when you're just annoyed. You're disrespecting the other person. Your partner says they want to start working out again. Instead of encouraging them, you roll your eyes and say, "Yeah, right. Haven't we heard that one before?" The message underneath is, "I don't respect you." The antidote to contempt is building a culture of appreciation. Instead of scanning for flaws, notice what your partner is doing right. Small things count. "Thanks for making coffee this morning. I appreciate you picking up the kids. I love how you handled that conversation." Gratitude is like armor against contempt. The more you practice it, the harder it becomes to slip into the cycle of disrespect. Third is defensiveness. When someone brings up an issue, do you constantly fire back with excuses, denial, or counterattacks? That's defensiveness. It often sounds like, "It's not my fault, you're overreacting." "Yeah, but you do the same thing." "I only did that because you did X first." Defensiveness blocks responsibility and escalates conflict. It makes the other person feel unheard, dismissed, or even gaslit. And here's the truth. Many of us learned defensiveness as kids. Maybe you grew up in a house where mistakes were punished harshly, so you got good at defending yourself. The problem is, those old habits carry into adulthood, and they can wreck communication. The antidote is simple, but not always easy. Take responsibility for your part. Instead of deflecting, try, "You're right, I could have handled that differently." "I hear you, I'll work on that." Notice how that lowers the temperature instantly? It's not about being perfect. It's about showing your partner, friend, or family member that you're willing to own your side of the street. And that's what creates trust. Fourth is stonewalling. Stonewalling is when your partner shuts down completely. They withdraw, stop responding, leave the room, or say, "I don't want to talk about this." Usually happens when someone feels emotionally overwhelmed, what psychologists call flooded. The problem is that stonewalling leaves the other person feeling ignored, neglected, or like their emotions don't matter. Imagine trying to explain you're hurt, and the other person stares at the TV or walks out. The silence can feel louder than yelling. If you notice yourself shutting down, the key is not to disappear forever, but to take a break and then return. You can say, "I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Can we pause for 15 minutes so I can calm down, and then we'll come back to this?" Then actually come back. Go for a walk, breathe, splash some water on your face, whatever helps reset your nervous system. Once emotions get regulated, logic and empathy return. Remember, when emotion is high, logic is low. Pausing isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Here's the reality. Everyone shows up with at least one of these four horsemen sometimes. None of us is immune. The difference is whether you recognize it and course correct before it becomes the pattern that defines your relationship. Replace criticism with clear requests. Replace contempt with gratitude and appreciation. Replace defensiveness with responsibility and openness. And replace stonewalling with calm breaks and return conversations. Healthy communication isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Relationships don't fall apart overnight. They erode slowly through negative patterns or grow stronger through intentional ones. Don't beat yourself up if you start noticing yourself slipping into criticism, contempt, defensiveness, or stonewalling. Just pause and ask, how can I show up differently right now? Because the truth is, you deserve healthy, connected relationships. And the people you love deserve the best version of you too. So make it your mission today to show up with kindness, appreciation, and honesty. I appreciate you, and I'll leave you the same way I always do. Make it your mission to make someone else's day better. Stay positive, friends.